Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Last week, we talked about the fawn response, that deep unconscious drive to people please, to earn safety, to avoid conflict, often at the cost of our own authenticity. Today, I want to go a little deeper because fawning is just one way that the nervous system responds to fear. There's also fight, flight, and freeze. And when you can start to see all of them, not just in theory, but in your body, in your daily life, you begin to realize that you're not broken. You're not too much or not enough. You're a human being with a nervous system that learned how to survive the best way that it could. And when you really start to see that, healing starts to feel less like a battle and more like a homecoming. Trauma isn't just the big moments that we tend to think of: violence, neglect, and loss. Sometimes trauma is the absence of what we needed the most: that hug that didn't come, the validation that never arrived, the safe space that wasn't there when you were hurting, tiny ruptures again and again when you were too young to make sense of them. And the body remembers. The nervous system said, I will protect you. So it wired itself to fight, to flee, to fawn, or to freeze to help you survive. It's not your fault. It's your biology doing exactly what it was meant to do. But here's the thing about trauma: it doesn't stay neatly filed in the past. If it's unresolved, it echoes through emotional flashbacks. Moments when something small happens, a tone of voice, a look, a criticism, and suddenly you're flooded. You're overwhelmed with shame, panic, rage, and numbness. And it's not about what's happening right now. It's about the wounds that you carry, the ones that never really got to heal. And unless we recognize what's happening, we can get trapped in a loop, reacting to the past instead of the present moment. That's why so many times we regret, I should, later on, I should have said this, I should have said that, I should have done this. The fight response. Let's talk about that one. When your body chooses to fight, it's trying to reclaim control, to push back against fear. Sometimes fight energy looks like healthy boundaries, standing up for yourself, speaking your truth. That is the empowered side of fight. But when fear hijacks it, fight energy can become destructive. Explosive anger, controlling behavior, defensiveness that walls off real connections. And then sometimes that fight is turned inward, pushing yourself to exhaustion, berating yourself for not being better or more healed, setting impossible standards, and then collapsing under the weight of them. Have you ever felt that harsh inner fighter? Not because you hate yourself, but because some part of you thought fighting harder would finally make you feel safe or worthy or loved. And it's okay, because you're not wrong for that. Like I said, you were trying to survive. And then there's flight. Flight says, get out, run, escape. In healthy doses, flight can be intuitive, leaving a toxic environment, ending an unhealthy relationship, choosing freedom. But fear-driven flight can show up in subtler ways, jumping from project to project without finishing. That's flight. Ending friendships at the first sign of conflict, burying yourself in work, hobbies, distractions, anything to outrun discomfort. Flight energy whispers, if I can just keep moving, nothing can catch me. But eventually we realize we're not just running from others, we're running from ourselves. And wherever you go, there you are, the tender parts of you still waiting to be heard. Then there's fawn, for those who haven't seen last week's video. The response that we often recognize first when we come out of trauma or toxic relationships. Fawn says, maybe if I'm good enough, kind enough, perfect enough, you won't hurt me. You'll love me. It's a heartbreaking kind of hope, because fawn teaches you to betray yourself to stay connected to others. It teaches you to disappear just enough to keep the peace. But your soul knows you were never meant to be loved for your usefulness. You were meant to be loved for your beingness. Fawning may have kept you safe once, but it's not who you are. It's who you have learned to be. Just a learning, and you can unlearn it. And finally, freeze. Freeze is when everything just stops. Movement feels impossible. Words get caught in your throat. Decisions feel overwhelming. You sit on the couch staring into space thinking, what's wrong with me? There is nothing wrong with you. Freeze is what happens when the nervous system believes I can't fight, I can't fawn, I can't run fast enough. That's what happens with narcissism, no matter what you try. So the safest thing to do is to play dead. And freeze can feel like depression, like numbness, like a fog that you can't lift. You can't seem to get going on anything. You can't leave a toxic relationship when you know that you should. And yet, freeze is also sacred, because sometimes freeze was the most intelligent thing that your body could do to protect you. There's nothing shameful about it. You might have one primary response, or you might move between them, depending on the day, the trigger, and the situation. Some days you'll fight, some days you'll flee, some days you'll freeze, and some days you'll fawn. And all of them are strategies for safety. None of them make you broken. Healing doesn't mean that you never get triggered again. Healing means that you recognize when you're triggered and you meet yourself there with kindness. Instead of collapsing into shame, you can pause and then ask, what's my nervous system trying to protect me from right now? You breathe. The breath will still the mind. You place a hand on your heart. You ground yourself in the now, not the then. And little by little, you teach your body it's safe to feel. It's safe to stay. It is safe to be me. And that's where true healing lives. Not in never feeling fear, but in bringing love to the parts of you that are afraid. So today, I'm not asking you to fix yourself. I'm inviting you to notice when you push, fight, when you run, flight, when you disappear, parts of yourself, fawn, when you freeze, freeze. And instead of judging yourself, just say to yourself, okay, I see you, and it's okay. We're safe now. That's reparenting, and reparenting is very powerful. Every moment you choose awareness over automatic reaction, you reclaim a little more of your wholeness, and you're doing better than you think. So thank you for being here with me today, and we shall see you in the next video. Take care, and bye for now.